Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 13th episode. The 13th episode of Closing Out the Week with the Closers Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Marco Alvarado. And today we have a reoccurring guest. I believe this is his third time on the podcast. But this time he's by himself. First time, he was with Jake, Jonah Jameson Phillips, Poe and Narayan. Second time, he was with the infamous K. Hella. And now he is here to talk about something he's very passionate about. The Joker. In all iterations of the Joker to start. And then he will jump into his analysis of the movie The Joker. We have none other than Carlitos Salamanca. Welcome.
Howdy. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't complain.
Yeah, we're all bulled up.
Yeah, I'm pumped off that.
Cheers.
Cheers again.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Boom.
Yeah. You gotta get bulled up for the Closers Podcast.
Fuck you.
But anyways.
Classic Vine.
But anyways, so you have done some research for the podcast.
Oh man. You know, honestly, I don't feel like I did research at all because I was just like skimming through everything like on YouTube, just watching these videos.
Yeah.
It's not anything new to me before, but I thought coming into this I should provide context to each of just the on-screen Jokers because there's just too much graphically. By that I mean in the comics and on paper.
Yeah.
There's a lot about the Joker that will take too much time for me to go through and kind of analyze because, as I said, walking up the stairs, I'm no professional by any means.
Oh, of course, right.
You know,
yeah.
This is just surface level stuff, but still things that I think are important to analyze before we get into the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's just dive straight into it.
Yeah. What do you got?
First, the movie itself, spoiler alert, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the Joker, stop right now. This is your last warning because after a few breakdowns,
that's all
the movie's in the open in this podcast. So if you haven't seen it yet, just shut it down.
There you go. I like it. I like the spoiler. Yeah. I wasn't even going to give a freaking warning. So thank you for that.
I just want to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to kind of form their opinion.
Oh. We're all about equality on the Closers Podcast.
But yeah, I'll tell you right now, I saw it with Jake. My hands were sweaty the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, from the intro all the way to the end.
Wow.
Because there's a element of like humanity to that movie within a villain role that just like I felt really bad the whole time for Arthur Fleck, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt like I'm always on the side of Batman because that's how every movie is. Joker's bad. But then in this one, you see like society's bad. The system's broken.
There's a lot of things that create that bad person.
And it's like in a world where people want to be themselves and the system fails them, it pushes them to a point where they end up being who they really are, but sometimes that's not the best, you know? So I think overall 10 of 10 movie.
I agree. It's a great movie. I think another aspect that I keep thinking about is just the idea that there's a lot of times in that movie, more so in the beginning, before a very pivotal moment, which we'll talk about later, but where you can see that Arthur is like a caring, like he's a good, like with like he's a good guy to a degree.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like maybe the movie paints that picture for a reason and then shows how he really is, or is it all just situational? There's a lot of variables but that's the thing, like you can come to your own conclusion.
Yeah.
That's what makes the movie kind of beautiful.
And that's what I was reading a lot was the aspect of the unreliable narrative from his point of view.
Yeah.
Like you're watching the scenes unfold from his eyes, but is it something that we can really count on as fact?
Exactly.
Or is it just something that is in his head? But we'll get into that later.
Oh, yeah.
So just like some background on past on-screen Jokers to kind of give context to Joaquin Phoenix. Starting with Cesar Romero from Adam West Batman, you know.
The camp.
Yeah,
Campy.
and the reason why I was so set on kind of like researching all these different on-screen versions is because I made the argument before that every Joker is the counterpart to every Batman. So when people try to compare like Jared Leto to Heath Ledger, those Jokers, I feel that comparison is unfair.
Okay.
Not only because Jared Leto's was just like a really poor idea.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. That one hits deep because it's like, dude, there's no way that I'm going to say it.
Just say it.
I'm going to say it. Heath Ledger is only famed because he died.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Whoa!
Hot take. And that's something that people will die for, dude. They'll sit there and they'll say Heath Ledger was the best, and I'll ask why. And they're like, well, if you look at this one, and it's like, okay, but in the context of The Dark Knight, he was a perfect Joker for Christian Bale's Batman. If you look at Jack Nicholson, he was the perfect Joker for Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to kind of compare each Joker to the next because if you really wanted to say who the best Joker was, you could look into the comics to see which storyline best portrays that Joker versus which one's the best on screen.
So you're saying that it's impossible to have a best Joker?
I think so, because the way I
just
see
the best character in general.
Yeah, like actors can play a good representation of the Joker, but I think throughout time, from Cesar Romero up until Joaquin Phoenix, they've all played a different aspect of the Joker's mentality, and only in a comic line where you see him from beginning to end can you understand that if all these kind of elements of the Joker portrayed by all these actors were formed into one,
right,
then you would get the character development and every aspect of every version of the Joker, like, combined into one, would be that one that you see progress through the comic lines, you know?
Got it.
So Cesar Romero, just watching like some clips of him from the Adam West Batman, this guy is just laughing in almost everything he does, and I was like, man, this is kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But the more I was watching it, the more I was like, man, the only time he's laughing is when he's up to something fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like something evil.
Yeah.
And so the first episode he appeared in, which I thought was really interesting, was him at the prison during a baseball game, and the little, like, warden people, or, like, the guards are like, wow, like, the warden should be impressed that the Joker's rehabilitated. Like, look at him, he's not going to do anything crazy anymore.
Yeah.
And then this guy throws a ball that explodes, and then he has a spring that, like, shoots him out of the prison walls, you know? Which I thought was really interesting, because in The Dark Knight Returns, you have that psychiatrist, like, advocating for the Joker on the talk show.
Oh, yeah.
That he's reformed, and he's like, he's not going to do anything crazy, but then he snaps there. And so, but my conclusion was that the Joker that's portrayed by Cesar Romero is, like, the jokester portion of the Joker, where he has, like, the gimmicks and all that kind of, like, goofy stuff, you know?
I feel like the Jack Nicholson Joker also has an element of that.
Yes. And that's where I kind of realized, like, every iteration of the Joker kind of builds on the next one.
Yeah.
While keeping some similarities, they also drop some as they move on.
Yeah.
So moving into Jack Nicholson, his origin was kind of similar to the Red Hood, in the fact that he falls into the chemicals.
Yeah, the chemicals,
you know?
yeah.
And,
sorry to cut you off, but with Cesar Romero, there was no origin given.
No, he just, like, his first appearance, because I was looking into that too, like, when did he first appear in Adam West Batman? And it was at the prison scene.
Oh, okay.
But I guess by then, if people were into the comics, then they would already know kind of, like, where he came from.
Got it.
But, yeah, that's what's really weird is every Joker has a different backstory.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know, it kind of throws you for a loop. And I like that element of mystery, because if Batman had a different beginning to his life as Batman every time, I wouldn't be as relatable to him as a character.
True.
You know? So I think with that kind of aspect of mystery in the Joker, it makes us kind of detached.
Yeah.
But then within Joaquin Phoenix, you kind of, like, you kind of feel for the guy throughout the movie, you know, because they give you that context of his life before, which was the same in The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Where you see the Joker's like a failed comedian before he is the Joker, you know, and then he gets suckered into the Red Hood thing, and then he accidentally falls into the chemicals there. Yeah. And then that's when he turns crazy. And
for everybody that isn't like a super big fan of like the comics and stuff, what is Dark Knight Returns? Because that's
The Dark Knight Returns, I forgot who the writer of that comic series was, but it took place in a world where Batman's older. He's like a veteran kind of superhero. And at this point, like the Joker has said to be rehabilitated, you know, and then from there, this fool just snaps on a TV show, just like Joaquin Phoenix, you know? Yeah. And just goes on a killing spree after that, and the end of the storyline ends up with Batman killing the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's a movie, it's an animated movie. I would recommend watching it if you guys don't like reading graphic novels like that. Yeah. Because it really, there's a lot of elements within Joaquin Phoenix's Batman, or Joker, sorry, that ties into multiple of the storylines within other Joker series. Yeah. Which is super crazy, but I don't know, it's just really neat to see how things kind of build upon each other, because even in the Batman games. Yeah. Like
Arkham Asylum and shit like that.
In the last one with the Joker before he dies, they show his origin and why he hates Batman, and it's the same Red Hood story.
Oh, okay.
From that one. You don't see like the Joker's life before, but you see him fall into the chemicals and all that kind of stuff, and why he hates Batman, because if it wasn't for Batman being there and accidentally letting him fall into the chemicals, he wouldn't have been the Joker in the first place. Right. So I think that whole kind of concept is really pivotal. So, and that's kind of the same concept as the Joaquin Phoenix one, where he doesn't have it out for Bruce Wayne Batman, you know, because Batman's non-existent in this movie. Yeah. But Thomas Wayne is kind of the reason why he ends up falling over the edge, essentially, because he's like, your mom's a liar, I'm not your dad, and get the fuck out of here. Yeah. You know?
And then he punches him in the face.
Yeah, dude. And I forgot the name of the actor that played Thomas Wayne.
Oh, he was in he was in
the Dark Knight series. Yeah, as like one of the senators. Yeah. But just like his stocky build, the only thing I could picture him being was Batman from Flashpoint. Oh, yeah. Like, as soon as he socked him, he's like, I'll fucking kill you. I was like, dude, this guy would be such a good Batman. I was like, that'd be fucking crazy. But so Jack Nicholson, like the thing that I got from his Joker to Michael Keaton's Batman was like the gangster effect. Yeah. And some parallels between that movie and Joaquin Phoenix is the first time you see Jack Nicholson as the Joker, he walks into like some old dude's apartment. I forgot exactly who the old dude is, but he's standing in the shadows, and he's like, I guess his real name was Jack, and he's like, Jack's gone, like Jack died. He's like, you can call me the Joker. And then he steps into the light, and that's like the first time you see his face, like pale with a fucking creepy ass grin, like all that kind of stuff. Right. And then you get like the clown music playing, which I thought was super cool. That was Tim Burton and Danny Elfman, right?
Yeah, that was that one.
Amazing.
You like that?
I do, because like the clown music, it was like typical circus music, and this guy, while that's happening, is dancing around, just shooting this dude hella times. Just straight killed this guy while acting like a circus clown, and I was like, damn, like that really shows how like messed up in the head he really is, you know. And with Joaquin Phoenix, like every time he's dancing, he's like kind of getting in his element. Oh yeah. While the score was a little bit darker, like it wasn't as chipper. Yeah. There's still elements of like
that is a parallel for sure.
Like like I'm getting in my element as the Joker, and then especially when he dances onto the stage.
Oh yeah.
He's like doing that weird dance, and then he gets out there, and he's just like finally fitting into who he is. Yeah. Even though who he is a super fucked up person, you know. But yeah, so Jack Nicholson's like the gangster aspect of the Joker, where it's just like out for revenge. Like everything he's doing is because
he hates Batman.
Yeah, he hates Batman. He hates the people that like turned their back on him, you know? They thought he was dead, like, all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
And so I noted that, like, his personality change came with the clown music and, like, his first kill as the Joker, you know? So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then moving into the next on-screen Joker.
It's the
boy himself, Heath Ledger. So,
round of applause.
Yeah, a round of applause on the paper. Man, one of his quotes, he says, "I'm an agent of chaos."
Right.
And I think for Christopher Nolan to develop this character as just that worked out perfectly.
Yeah. Especially for that universe.
Exactly, because when you look back, the whole time Batman's active, even moving into The Dark Knight Rises, he is just acting as a shadow to kind of cover up, like, the corruption that's happening within the political system. Yeah. As well as, like, law enforcement. Yeah. And is chaotic good, like, one of the things on the scale?
For, like, D&D?
Yeah.
Yeah, chaotic good, yeah.
I think the Joker, in a sense, represents that because he is an agent of chaos, but he's doing it to expose everything that the general public should be seeing wrong with Gotham. And for him to be doing that is just fucking, like, it's crazy. Yeah. But it makes so much sense because...
And it's actually if you put it in that perspective, that is something that, I mean, people want even today in, like, our society. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think even Joaquin Phoenix Joker, like, touches on that. I'm going to say Todd Phillips Joker because Joaquin Phoenix played the character. Todd Phillips was the idea behind the movie, so I feel like I need to give him credit.
Sure. I mean, you could say that. I just feel like Joaquin Phoenix definitely did have an influence, though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, the divide between rich and poor with, like, garbage in the streets. Like, there's a lot of parallels between what's happening now. Yeah. Especially with our political system and how the youth definitely feel towards what's happening in our nation. Yeah. It's kind of like all these aspects kind of represented in a movie. And, just, like, people say that Heath Ledger's Joker is crazy, like they call him that in the movie. Yeah. I think it's when he's talking to, like, all the mobsters at the table in the beginning.
With the party trick scene.
Yeah, and he's like, this guy's crazy. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then he, like, really gets into it. He's like, no, I'm not.
I'm
not. Yeah. And that's, like, he's not crazy in his own mind because he knows what he's doing, even though it's killing people and burning money and bringing Gotham to its knees. It needs to be done because that's the only way that people are going to see that Gotham needs to change. Right. You know, and...
So which type of Joker do you think, or which part of the Joker
represents the criminal mastermind portion of the Joker because he's able to outsmart Batman on almost every turn. Yeah. How?
Even the end too, because of, like,
he doesn't know, like, even Bruce Wayne with all his tech doesn't know who the Joker is. Yeah. He doesn't exist on any, like, physical or, like, electronic platform. Yeah. We don't know where this guy came from. Like, to us, he's just, like, some random fucking dude. Yeah. That robbed a bank in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Yeah. You know? He plays with Batman's heart.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Okay. I'm convinced that he knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
You think so?
Yes, because remember when Bruce is like, let her go, and he's like, very poor choice of words, and he lets her go off the thing.
Oh,
and then later in the movie, he's like, man, I really thought you were Harvey the way you dove after her.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
And then he separates Harvey and Rachel in different areas, and he's like, you have to choose.
And then he
goes for Rachel, but it ends up being Harvey. Yeah. Bro. He might not know that it's Bruce specifically, but he knows that it's someone affiliated with Rachel enough to, like, risk his life to go save her.
Yeah. But there's not many people that would do that other than, like, Bruce.
Yeah, because it'd be so easy to just research, like, Bruce Wayne or, like, Rachel Dawes on Facebook. Yeah. And be like, oh, look at this old Bruce, you know? Yeah. Like, shit's so easy to do. Yeah. And that's something I never took into account until right now.
That is true. I hadn't either.
Yeah, no, but it's like he's smart enough to figure out who Bruce is without Bruce figuring out who he is, you know? Yeah. And there's been other theories like he's a war veteran.
Yeah, I've seen that
like,
one.
Blah, blah, blah. But the one that I saw that really made me put into, like, the chaotic good was how they flipped the scene to say, like, the Joker is really the good guy of the Dark Knight, while Batman is, like, fucking everything up.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because everything the Joker's setting up is like, oh, I'm going to expose this so that people can see, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen. And then Bane, like, comes in, and he's like, I'm going to fucking do what Joker couldn't do, you know?
Yeah.
And just, like, flips. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Jesus. Yeah,
I'm a fan of that Bane.
No, I am too. I'm a fan of the whole trilogy.
The whole bat breaking. Oh man.
I really wish that Heath Ledger.
Broke you.
Yeah, I wish that Heath Ledger wouldn't have died, because I know that they were planning on bringing him back in like the following movie too.
Damn.
I really would have loved to have seen what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
And
let's give Hans Zimmer some credit here, because without the score,
dude,
that movie would not have been as good as it was.
Definitely
with
not.
Like just the thunderous effect.
Yeah. No.
With every time the Joker was on screen.
No, that score is fucking awesome.
Damn.
So good. And Heath Ledger.
And even his laugh, dude.
Yeah.
I like the first time we hear him laugh is when he's walking into that scene with all the mobsters, and he's like, ooh, ooh, ha, ha.
Yeah, he's ooh,
ha, ha.
Yeah.
But then
ha.
But then when we see him again, and actually hear his laugh, it's when he has that dude who's pretending to be Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna show you how crazy like
really
Gotham
is,
really is.
Yeah.
And then he just like hits that
and he kills
crazy
him.
laugh.
Yeah.
That's, man, that one I can feel it on my spine, you know?
That's the thing too. Every one of these Jokers has a distinctive laugh too.
Yeah.
Like they all have their own laugh.
And I noticed that Jack Nicholson, like, he laughs a lot too, but it's kind of in, I don't know, it's kind of like Cesar Romero, where he's doing it when he's doing something bad, but then it's also in times that he's like kind of uncomfortable emotionally.
Is really?
Yeah.
What's an example of that with Jack Nicholson? Because I don't remember.
Like,
yeah, I've only seen that movie like once, honestly.
Oh man, I haven't seen it in a long time. I just watched the clip though. When he shoots Bruce, like in, I don't know, is it Vicky Vale that's in that?
I think so.
Yeah. So like
right.
in her apartment, and he's like walking away, but he's dancing, and it's kind of awkward, like stale air. He just like laughs as he's dancing out of her room, and then he just splits. And then he laughs for like a long time after he kills someone. Like the hand buzzer scene.
Oh, yeah.
Where like that dude just fucking fries. He kind of just like.
Just constantly, just like.
You know? Like.
Yeah.
Kind of just drags it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you have Heath Ledger as the criminal mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
And like other than that, I don't think he really, because he doesn't have like the goofy antics of the Joker. He's just like here to fuck shit up. He's there to watch the world burn. I
would though argue when he disguises himself as a nurse and goes to like Harvey, I feel like that's pretty goofy.
That was, but the way it's played out in the movie,
yeah,
I wouldn't think of it like that. I would think of it like maybe when he's like walking away and he's kind of walking like,
and he's
Duck
like, and he's like trying to press the button and it's not working, and then
so like that part still has an element of that old like comedy Joker, you know,
because that reminds me of like something you would see in the animated series with like Mark Hamill's.
Man, I won't bring him into this.
Yeah,
that was a good show.
No, we gotta pay homage real quick to
Mark Hamill, my boy.
He's the voice, dude.
Yeah, dude.
He's the voice for sure.
Quality laugh too.
Oh, super awesome. And then we have
but you can see like Cesar Romero like Goofy, and then Jack Nicholson like killing in Goofy.
Yeah.
And then you get to Heath Ledger, and it's
just
like
killing.
Just killing.
Yeah.
And then you get to Jared Leto. The first note on the paper is Jared Leto, oof.
Yeah, big oof.
Yeah, this one will be quick.
He tried to take it back to Jack Nicholson, kind of.
With the hand,
dude.
Over the face.
I can't handle his left.
Yeah, dude. That's
like, what?
I'm just like, fuck. So the only thing I had was that he was just like the crazy like something's wrong in his head version of the Joker. He had a really weak laugh.
He's just so
overall bad. The concept was poorly executed.
Yeah.
Like I kind of understood where they were going because it's the newer age of Batman. Like it's all about the money. It's all about like the rich lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like today.
Yeah.
Like you see rappers, and that's where I kind of think they were trying to go with that. Is like everyone's focused on like being like iced out with the chains, like driving the Lamborghini. You know, they had like purple Lamborghini.
Yeah, Skrillex and Rick Ross made
for Suicide Squad. And that's another thing I wrote on here is like the soundtrack really was detrimental to this movie.
Yeah.
Because of how they were trying to modernize the film, I guess.
Yeah, and it was all over
really
the place.
Off.
There was no cohesive image.
The one thing that I will give credit to was the relationship between the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Really?
Within Suicide Squad. Like all the clips that they flashed back to, because you could tell like he was super torn on his emotions.
Yeah.
Between like, fuck this bitch and man, like, I love you, bitch. I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch. You know?
Yeah.
But I also found that he laughs a lot when he's in emotional pain, because when Harley gets taken away, the scene where he's like laying on the ground with all the knives, he just sits there and like laughs after he tells the guy that we have to go find her. And then he gets just like super like snaky, you know, like kind of just like wigged out.
Yeah.
When other people are like approaching Harley Quinn or like getting too close, or just like any time he just doesn't feel like he's in a very comfortable setting is when he kind of like breaks out of that shell and kind of gets crazy. Yeah. Exactly that, you know?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I think is sick as fuck, one of the flashbacks that has Harley Quinn and Joker dancing.
Oh yeah, and she's in her...
the OG suit.
Yeah.
And that's actually from like a comic.
Oh yeah.
Where they're dancing. It's been dude. It was on a magnet at like stage 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And that was like the first time I saw it. And then when I saw it on screen, I remember I think I saw Suicide Squad with my mom. And when that came on, I was like fucking smacking her on the arm because I was like, that is sick. Like that's a really good homage to like their relationship within the comics.
Yeah.
And just like her old suit in general.
Yeah.
And then when she opens up the chest, it has like all that stuff in there still.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, Margot Robbie.
She's getting her own movie.
I know, dude, and she's hot.
Of course.
I think she does a really good job for a live action Harley Quinn, considering we haven't had one before.
It just sucks that there isn't a Joker that's like
good for her.
Good and like she can't. And then obviously, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix's Joker isn't gonna have a Harley Quinn.
No, because he's a fucking creep. First of all,
you never know though.
You
never know though. That's all I'm gonna say. You never know.
Oh, I just hope they don't make another one. All right, moving on. Jared Leto, just crazy aspect of the Joker. So you can kind of see how, like, each portion of these ones would kind of create the circle to make a full comic book version of the Joker. There's just not enough time or willingness to kind of create that character development. Yeah, I know they tried in Gotham. I kind of fell off that a while ago.
I've never seen it, but I heard about that.
So I don't. There's like this one guy, Jerome, who was like, I thought he would be the Joker, but then I saw that he had a twin brother who like actually turned into the Joker on the show. But I fell off that, so I don't have any real opinion about that. Yeah. But that's where I think it's kind of hard, because if I was a viewer that wasn't invested in comics, or even if I was like deeply invested in comics, it would take a lot for me to kind of nut up and watch a full character development, like a Dark Knight Returns version of Joker, where I see like, this is him as a failed comedian. His wife and unborn baby die because she gets electrocuted. Yeah. He gets tricked into, like, doing a mob, like, robbery because at this point he has nothing left to lose. Yeah. And then that kind of fucks him over and he ends up turning crazy because he's lost everything at this point. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So I think the element of loss within Todd Phillips' Joker that parallels, like, the Red Hood series. Yeah. Really is really good, because you kind of see nothing really goes right for Arthur Fleck, you know? Yeah, not at all. From the opening scene to the end, like, everything just kind of fucks him over again and again and again and again, and that's what kind of pushes him to that limit. Yeah. So Joaquin Phoenix, I think
finally in on it.
Ooh, here we go.
Can I ask you a question though before we go into that? what was, just general movie question, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh. Fuck. Dude, honestly, I think when the cops are chasing him and he gets into the subway and then once they're being like beaten up,
yeah,
and he takes off the mask and he like Fortnite dances in front of him and then just fucking splits.
Yeah.
I thought right then, because I know when he shoots the people on the subway, that's kind of like his intro into turning into this character.
Yeah. That's the turning point for sure.
Yeah, but then you go through like him killing the big dude, letting the midget go, and then dancing down the stairs. So like kind of all that stuff leads up to it, but once he gets away from the cops and like he's good to move on with his plan, I think right there was a really pivotal point. Yeah. That might be overlooked for bigger scenes that might say like, oh, this is when he turns into the Joker, but I think once he knows like I'm going to be able to execute the rest of my plan without a problem because these cops are now getting the shit kicked out of him. Yeah. Like I think that just sets the movie off moving forward, for the ending.
Yeah, and I think that's a pivotal part too, because that's the first time, like obviously before that he's like killed people, but that's the first time he's actually been able to like come out kind of on top in a situation without having to like straight up just kill somebody.
Yeah, and I think
and that's a powerful thing.
This could just be like a coincidence or just like surface level, but looking deeper into that moment of the movie, when he's running away from the cops, he's Arthur Fleck, like scared as fuck. Yeah. Just like, I'm going to get caught. I don't know what to do when I get caught. And then he puts on the mask. And then once he gets away, he takes the mask off. And I think that's him, like, boom.
Becoming the Joker.
The Joker right there. Yeah. With that actual plastic mask. He's like, hey, I got away. And I know that I'm able to do something that I thought I couldn't. Yeah. Yeah. But I think the entire background of the movie for Todd Phillips' Joker was done super well. Yes. Because there's so many parallels to different aspects of the Joker stories that even I would have to watch the movie again. Yeah. And sit there with a notebook and take notes on, like,
which is what I want to do. I want to see that movie again.
Oh man.
I keep thinking about it, dude.
I know.
It's like the one thing that I've just like ever since Saturday night, because I saw it on Saturday night, and like ever since then, I've just constantly been thinking about that movie.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I deal with psych patients at work, and I think like, fuck, I've picked up people that have been off their meds before, and then watching that movie, I was like, holy fuck, because he's like, yeah, I've been doing really good. I've been off my medication for a few weeks, and then there was this one guy in the audience. He was like, oh, and me and Jake were laughing hella hard, but I was like, dude, that's like a serious thing. People will be like, I don't want to take my fucking Haldol or whatever, Yeah. That's actually like a sedative. Anyway. But they'll be like, yeah, they came in because they were off their meds and then they were like found on the street doing some weird shit. And I'm like, that's kind of scary. Yeah. I was like, dude, what'd you guys give them? They're like, a B-52. Which means like any psych patient who gets a B-52, yeah, they might call it like a cocktail or whatever. Oh, that will just put someone to sleep. Yeah. And they're only given that if they're being like super erratic.
That makes sense.
Just fucking snow someone, and they'll just be like laying on the gurney, like half awake.
That's crazy.
But yeah, in my deduction of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker was everything that would have made Cesar Romero, everything that would have made Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto before we saw them on screen. Yeah, would have been Arthur Fleck. And he was just the emotionally distraught portion of the Joker.
That you don't see from any of the other iterations.
It's like every trauma before he was the clown is now being shown through this movie. And I think that's super huge because within that, you kind of feel for him. You're just like, fuck, dude, like this guy cannot catch a break. Yeah. And then you think maybe Thomas Wayne will help out. Nope. I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, man, maybe he'll go to the estate, and when he gets there, I'm like, he'll just explain himself, and then we'll find out, like, he's really Thomas's son, but then it just fucking blows up in his face. Yeah. And he looks like an idiot,
And I feel like that's a key thing, too, because that shows, or that's, like, his last, like, shred of hope for anything. Is like, oh, my God, like, Thomas Wayne might be my dad. And then when he gets, like, literally punched in the face by him, and tells him that he's a freak. Like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That at that point, it's just like,
don't touch my son.
Yeah, he's like,
that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
That was
the hole.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I would never put my fingers in someone's mouth.
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird. I loved that movie. I just loved everything about it.
There was a lot of cringe to it, but it wasn't like.
Oh yeah, there wasn't
like. I don't know. That movie made me super like socially uncomfortable, but in a way that was super intriguing.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, this is super weird. Like, I'm kind of freaked out, but at the same time, like, what does this mean? Like, all of his nude pictures in his notebook.
Oh, yeah, they just never explain.
Yeah, I was just like, that's fucking weird. And then, like, he's at the comedy club, and it just, like, flops open on a fat nude. And I was like, no one's going to address that at all. He's just, like, going to go on with his thing. I was like, okay. Yeah. But I was watching this interview with Todd Phillips explaining, like, the beginning of the movie.
Uh-huh.
And
oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
How he's saying the tear was just, like...
It just happened.
Yeah, but what I thought was super cool about this movie is when he said that he had the composer write the music before shooting, so they would play the score as they're shooting the scene.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before, but damn, I can only put myself in that position to be hearing that on set while someone's acting out that portion, because I've seen clips of movies being shot before they edit the sound into it. Yeah. And it's weird. It's just like stale air and someone's being super dramatic, like, Tommy, don't die. And then it's just like nothing else is happening. So I don't know. I heard Joaquin Phoenix wasn't method acting for this movie. Nope. He was just like doing the scene.
Yeah, he just did it.
And like, I get super emotional when I hear like Star Wars music.
Yeah.
Like, I'll listen to that because I'm just like, it just puts me there.
Like, just there's the like, and like just like right when it hits.
But even I think the one that I can listen to all the time and I still like well up a little bit is the Han Solo and Carbonite scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where she's like, "I love you," and he's like, "I know."
Yeah.
It's like da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, it's like the cloud theme or something.
Cloud City.
Yeah, Cloud City. Yeah.
Fuck. And I'm just like, I can listen to that and I can see exactly what's happening in the movie. And when the score changes, I can see Chewbacca like making that noise. Yeah, and then he just like,
yeah,
and then he gets frozen like that.
Yeah,
man. So I think putting the music on top of them acting out the scene would make a huge difference.
Oh, definitely. It puts you in the mood. I mean, think about just when you listen to like any kind of music. If it's something more lively, you become a little bit more lively. If it's something you're like sad, you become more sad. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that was something that was super cool.
Yeah.
And man, fucking crazy.
I want to talk about his laugh though. I loved what they did with his laugh and how he was like, I have a condition, like I can't. Yeah. And he's like laughing. And he can't control it, and you can tell he doesn't want to fucking laugh. And he's like, it's like hurting him, like it's painful.
And he's like grabbing his throat and stuff, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, like
fuck.
It's crazy.
He's like trying to find. I noticed how like his high pitched laugh, like the one he does when he's walking through the hallway.
Oh yeah,
is like he doesn't really care about the joke, but he's trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Same thing at the comedy club. Like he's like looking for the social cues to laugh, and he's always like one
beat off.
Yeah. Like everyone finishes their laugh and he like looks around and he's like, oh, I should have laughed at that. You know? And so just like breaking down that movie, this might be like all over the place because
it's fine.
I was just trying to recall my brain from what was going on, but I think giving him a name and giving him a background really gave me more emotional support to the character. You know?
Yeah.
Because I can go back and kind of put the storyline to each of the other Jokers and kind of understand where they're coming from.
In more of a context?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it doesn't necessarily need to be the same origin, but just giving him a personality before him going crazy makes a big difference because it's like, I wouldn't care about Superman as much if I didn't know that his home planet didn't blow up.
Yeah.
You know? Exactly. So like giving a character context like that and showing their struggles before they are the villain or the hero really puts a lot of things into perspective, you know?
Yeah.
And man, this guy just got fucking shit on the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not when you watch a movie like this, it's really difficult to not find yourself, a part of yourself within that character.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't all had signs broken over our heads and getting jumped by like 5 kids. Not everybody's been through that.
This guy's weak.
But
he's
like,
not going to do nothing.
Yeah, but a lot of people have been in that situation.
Yeah,
where
even
people
emotionally,
people think that of you.
Like I'm just, or even like
this
moving
guy's
forward,
weak. He's not going to do anything.
You just think like fuck, I'm broken.
Yeah.
But then somehow like you make it to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't think you were gonna get to that exact position.
Yeah.
You know, and I even told Jake, I was like, dude, I follow the rules of society, but after watching this movie, like, I would go do some anarchist shit.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. And I was telling him, I was like, bro, if this movie opens up in China and they're having these protests now, like, I think shit will just hit the fan.
No, dude, there's no way this movie's playing in China. No way.
Dude.
No way.
I don't know. I think the depth within the movie on a social aspect parallels today's society a lot, you know. And I like the perspective of Thomas Wayne being a douchebag billionaire.
Yeah,
like telling the news that poor people are clowns.
Yeah,
and that he's gonna clean this place up with all of his money, because I think that's a more accurate representation of Thomas Wayne that we never saw before, because he just gets shot like in the beginning of every Batman movie.
Yeah.
But even in Batman Begins, where his dad's like, we're going to make the city a better place. Like, we're going to make things affordable. Mm-hmm. He could just be saying that to Bruce just to, like, ease his mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But in the background of things, he's still a billionaire. Like, he's still...
Yeah, he's like, I don't
probably doesn't give a fuck that much.
Yeah. So I'm going to run for mayor just so I can get more donations.
Yeah.
And shit. Yeah.
And I think in other contexts of Batman, within, like, that kind of universe, when, like, Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman see Bruce being a billionaire, but also going out of his way to help people as a vigilante, that gives them more of a heart towards Bruce's cause.
Exactly.
Because they see, like, your dad was a billionaire, but he wanted to change things from a political standpoint that would have helped him. Mm-hmm. Whereas you're trying to help the community from the opposite end of the spectrum that could get you caught. But we understand why you're doing it that way.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So, yeah.
And even Christian Bale plays the douchey billionaire dude.
Yeah, he does.
Because he has to put on that kind of front, you know?
Yeah. It is interesting because, I mean, like I've talked about on the podcast, I have lived in a big city, San Francisco.
It smells like shit.
It smells like shit, of course. And I bet Gotham does too. But, like, that parallel, or I definitely saw myself, like, walking in those streets. Like, because I've been, dude, it's crazy. All the gentrification that's gone on, all the techie people, like,
bro, I saw a homeless dude peeing on the wall.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I like look over, I'm like, yo, what?
I've seen some crazy shit, but no, like, I just feel like it is a very true representation of at least big cities, just because.
And not even.
Oh, dude, there's so many people that like people that are from other parts of, like, the Bay Area that maybe, like, BART in to work and then BART out.
Yeah.
And they're just totally culturally different from the people that live in the city that are super fucking rich, that work at, like, tech companies that make tons of money. And, dude, I've seen, like, guys get in fights on, like, the BART because one dude just was, like, acting like a cocksucker because he's rich, you know? And, like, the other dude's like, hey, like, techie, like, fuck you. Like, I don't give a shit. Like,
and what's really interesting is I think wealthy people don't believe that people on the lower end of the economic scale will do anything about that. Mm-hmm. You know, I think they just sit there and think like, hey, I have more money than you and I know you're not going to fight me about it. But then someone fights them about it.
Yeah.
And it's like a big surprise, like, hey, whoa. And I think that's kind of similar to the actual train scene from Joker.
Yeah, the way he shoots the dudes.
Yeah, it's like the girl kind of like looks at him for help. And he's uncomfortable, so he just starts laughing. Yeah. And at first I was like, oh, he's trying to fit in with the boys, you know? Yeah. But then they come in and they start singing in his face, like, Send in the Clown, and then start kicking the shit out of him again. Yeah. And at that point, I like the similarity between the opening and, like, the middle of the movie, where you're just, like, getting beat up again, but this time he fucking does something about it. Yeah.
And it is interesting, too, because, like, in that scene, that mentality of those guys being like, look, this dude's different than us. he's a clown, like literally, like this guy's weird, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
We're rich, we can do whatever we want. That mentality I definitely saw while living in SF. Where like, we're rich, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck about you or what you have going on. I'm going to please myself, and if it means beating you up, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just having fun.
Rich white man syndrome.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But I personally just love, like, I love Robert De Niro in this movie too.
Yeah, dude.
I fucking love that.
Oh man, I really thought that he was on the show at one point. Like when he flashes into the show during the hospital scene.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh man, like this guy was really on there. Like that's pretty cool. Oh, it wasn't during the hospital. It was when he's watching it with his mom.
Yeah.
In bed. And then at the hospital, it's like, this guy's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like that kind of fantasy that plays in throughout the whole movie really threw me for a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because before, like after he kills those dudes and he dances in the mirror, to, like kind of ease himself a little bit, he walks in and starts kissing that girl, and I was like, oh shit, like maybe that's real. And then she says his name, and Jake was like, how does she know his name? I was like, I don't know, like they live in the same building. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she knew her neighbor, you know. But then come to find out, she's like, your name's Arthur, right? You live down the hall. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like wait a second. Happening? Yeah. No, I wasn't expecting that either. I just kind of went with it.
Yeah. I was just like, what the fuck?
But isn't that crazy though, that because of that sequence, or that it was a subplot, actually, I guess you could say, because of that subplot, you can't believe anything else that's happened in the movie.
Yeah. Like that's why I watched this other interview with these guys, and they were saying like, yeah, because of that, we don't know if this guy is just saying all this stuff in his head. Yeah. Already at Arkham, or if this has happened, and that's why he's in Arkham. Yeah. You know? And I don't know. I'd have to watch this movie like 3 times. Me too. To really understand. It's kind of, man, I feel incepted.
Me too. That's what it kind of does to you. But that's what's kind of cool is I heard a theory. I have a couple theories about this movie. One of them, my favorite one, is that like it takes place in 1981. Yeah. And he's supposed to be in his 30s in the movie. He obviously looks older than 30. So it's actually like at the end of the movie when he's in that white room talking to the social worker. That part of the movie was him thinking of everything prior, just in his mind. Just like either reminiscing or just coming up with that backstory for himself. Yeah. In a split second. And that's why she's like, what's so funny? He's like, it's a joke. Like, you wouldn't get it. Like, and also, so like, but he imagines himself as at the time, like in the mid 90s or whenever. He pictures himself from the mid 90s, like back in 81. So that's why he looks older than he actually was. Yeah. So like, he actually is like 45. Yeah. Damn. And people are saying now, and there are rumors that the Robert Pattinson Batman is going to tie in to the Joker. That might actually be a thing, possibly. I don't. Yeah, I've heard some things because of how many people love this movie.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they need to stop. You think
they should leave it?
Yeah, I think move on to B-list heroes and villains.
I don't know.
I think the Joker's been played out. Obviously, everyone's gonna be like, Heath Ledger, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's been 11 years, almost 12 years. Fuck off. You know.
I just think.
And then like Christian Bale, like, fantastic series. Ben Affleck, flop. Robert Pattinson. At this point, just stop. You know,
you think so?
Move on.
I like
move
that.
on to Nightwing or something. Like,
I mean, I agree. I agree with
Booster
that.
Gold, Blue Beetle. You know, like,
I agree with that. But for me, I feel as though to see this version of the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, with an equally tonal Batman, done correctly, done right to fit this version of the Joker, would be insane. Like, it's such a different type of Batman.
I think that, like I said earlier, each Joker was good for that Batman. Like, they paired very well.
In this case, you'd have to
shitty
pair,
Batman.
You'd have to pair for
shitty Joker.
You'd have to pair for the. You have to pair. Well, yeah, I agree.
Leto,
but that's why you'd have to pair. But it's reversed this time. You have to pair this. You have to create a Batman for this specific Joker.
Yeah,
not the other way around. I was thinking, like, if you look at Batman from a realist perspective, he's a grown dude who dresses up in a bat suit and like beats up people, and like has obvious like traumatic shit that's happened in his past, right? Sounds a little reminiscent of somebody that we were just talking about. He has issues.
Yeah.
So does
he has childhood trauma.
He has childhood trauma. Like, he might be on meds too because of that. Like, he might, because of all the animosity within Gotham, towards rich people. Like, who's to say that they couldn't write it where like Wayne Corporation or whatever company it's called, like, loses all of their money. Like, they go bankrupt after like Thomas Wayne dies. Like, in 10 years, like, they lose everything because other CEOs couldn't keep the business afloat. And then Bruce is actually raised in a more, like, impoverished area, but he's, like, known as Wayne, and he gets picked on in school. He's, like, beat up all the time.
Yeah.
And, like...
Well, that's how it was, like, flashbacks from Arkham, like, those games. Yeah. Especially, I don't know if it was Arkham Knight, like, the last one. But they show Bruce, like, getting the shit kicked out of him in school, and that's why like Alfred teaches him to fight in the first place.
Yeah,
because it's after his parents get killed, and he doesn't have dad to protect him anymore.
Exactly.
So,
and that's like, it would just be a really interesting way to go about Batman 2, and instead of being like hero and villain, it's more just like two crazy dudes, like Batman or Bruce fucking hates the Joker.
Yeah,
and
I think
with him,
that would be a good segue if they were to continue the series with Robert Pattinson. Is now Bruce knows Arthur Fleck in his movement of anti-rich, anti-establishment is a reason why his parents were killed.
Exactly, and I think that's really important
because it'd be even like Murray's talk show. Yeah, you get what you fucking deserve, and then that guy like dips around the corner and he's like, "Hey Wayne, you get what you fucking deserve." And blop. Exactly. Classic scene with the beads, the pearl necklace, and everything. Yeah. That was something I really enjoyed about Batman vs Superman.
You liked that part?
Yeah, with the gun like clicking back and breaking the necklace. Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's probably the only good part of it.
Yeah, I would. But
a lot of that is taken, like Batman vs Superman is taken from The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, except like, I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, that could be a whole nother
What else
podcast.
we got going here? So I really like the version of Gotham that we see, like because like in Batman Begins, you see that like slum fucking area. It looks like Brazil or something, where like buildings are just piled on top of each other. Yeah, and then you get into like The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, and it kind of opens the scope on the city with every movie. But then this one is just focused around the outskirts of town and how like grimy it is. Like they say there's trash piling up on the news, and then almost every scene where Arthur's walking down the street, just piles of trash everywhere. Yeah, and it's like it really dips into today, even though it's set in the 80s. It's like, hey, we have a lot of waste. Yeah. Right now, like, what are we gonna do with it? And even like, then, they don't know what they're doing.
Where does the waste go?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's put it in impoverished neighborhoods. Yeah. Like, they don't give a shit, or even if they do, they're not gonna do shit about it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So I think the gritty aspect and seeing where he kind of grew up. Yeah. Was something that kind of added to his hate for the rich. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Because when he goes into the theater, like everyone's just laughing at Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, what a very, very ironic movie. It's a great movie choice. I mean, it's so symbolic of so many things, but
and it's just times. Like you see everyone in their nice suits and he's in there in a disguise, which when you put into perspective, everything could be a lie. Yeah. How did he get in there, bro?
Exactly.
How does no one question? How does the guy walking out of the bathroom not question him taking off like the bellhop costume, you know? Exactly. So it's, I don't know. Maybe this is like stuff he wish would have happened. Yeah. Maybe I think he did kill Murray. I think that was fact, but like everything, like his confrontation with Wayne, all this kind of stuff, I don't know if that really happened. Like everything that kind of seems like, how could he get away with that, you know?
Maybe it's one of those things where he heard about the Waynes dying because of like a protester,
and that's what he was like,
and
hey,
he like based everything around that.
Yeah, there's just a lot that is gonna take like a rewatch to kind of break down further, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't like watching the videos on YouTube because it's like I want to make these kind of assumptions for myself.
Yourself, yeah,
you know?
that makes sense.
But
there's just so many theories that can be of it. I love that about this movie.
Yeah, and I think the parallels between Dark Knight Returns with him on the talk show was crazy.
I loved that. I love that.
Like, you don't think anything is gonna go wrong, and then the Dark Knight Returns animated movie, he's like, "Can I keep this cup?" And the dude's like, "Yeah, we have a closet full of them." And he's like, "Okay." Smashes it on the table and like cuts the psychiatrist's throat, just slashes it right open. Dang. And I was just like, "What the fuck?" And then even before that, he's like, "I'm gonna kill everyone in here." And he's like, "Oh, he doesn't mean that. Like, he's just saying that to break the tension." Yeah. And then he fucking kills everyone in there, you know?
Yeah.
So same kind of thing.
I love that the scene in the movie when he stabs the big dude and then he kills him and then he lets like the little guy go. Dude, that's like
the little dude's walking past him. He's like, "Ah!"
Yeah, it's literally like that's like the most Jokerish scene in the movie for me.
Yeah,
just how because it's like did he mean to lock the top because he knew that that little guy wasn't gonna be able to reach it?
Yeah, that's what I was like, when he was hopping for it. I was like, "Fuck, he's gonna be super nice, and then he's really just gonna kill him."
And then he just lets him go.
Yeah,
and it's like that's the greatest thing is because like that's where the Joker makes his money. Basically, that's what he's known for is those types of situations where it's just fucked up but kind of funny.
Yeah,
you can't help but laugh.
I like how he's like, "You're the only one that was ever nice to me."
Yeah,
and what's like kind of fucked up, it was the little guy that was nice to him, you know?
Yeah.
So someone that was below him in a physical sense was the one that was always nice to him when he was seen as the smallest one emotionally.
Oh, wow. Very symbolic. Very deep. That is true. I haven't thought of it that way. So fuck, I gotta see this movie again.
So it's like, damn. Fucking love the gun at the hospital. That was probably Joker-esque too.
The guy at the hospital?
The gun.
Oh, the
where
gun.
He's like dancing in front of the kids and then it fucking flops out on the ground.
Dude,
he picks it up and he's like, puts his finger to his mouth like, shh.
Yeah, I died.
Jesus Christ.
I died on that. But yeah, it's just so hard to like, because I felt pity for him. And I honestly, in a kind of scary, but I feel like I've met that guy before. Like watching that movie.
Yeah.
Like people I've interacted with, like, kids that I used to like hang out with in high school and stuff. It's like I feel like I've met that specific guy before,
and it makes you just wonder, like, fuck, dude, I should really like try to understand if people like if I should interact with certain people or not.
Yeah,
because you don't know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's at work, no one knows what he does at home. No one knows like what his problem is, like why he laughs hella randomly, you know?
Yeah.
Until he finds out, and then from then it's just like, oh shit, you know?
Yeah.
But you're just like kind of walking on eggshells with his character as he's moving along through the narrative, you know?
Yeah.
And you're kind of just like, I'm kind of... And I think that made a big difference in the movie because you're sitting there and you feel like you're there with him.
Yeah.
And you're kind of uncomfortable because you're like, I don't know what he's going to do next. Like, I'm kind of scared.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it's such a great movie. So great. So fucking awesome.
I forgot to punch out.
Oh, yeah. And then he just starts fucking
punching the thing. Dude, I thought that was the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah.
By far.
That was pretty funny.
That was the comedic aspect. Like,
yeah.
That was probably his only funny joke.
Was it?
Think about it.
Like verbal joke, yeah.
Even
situational jokes though, no.
I think verbal joke.
Yeah.
That was his only funny thing.
Yeah. And like, yeah. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to think like, excuse me. It's crazy to think that like him doing that stand-up set Like, did he even do that?
Yeah.
You think he did?
I think he did. I don't think it was funny, like he thought it was.
Yeah.
Because then Murray's like, just fucking roast this guy on TV.
Well,
but then another thing that people were talking about was no late night host would ever just take a shot at a random person like that. Like on live TV, they would never like put someone in that kind of embarrassment. Not on like a late show, you know. So that was kind of,
I mean,
them putting into perspective if the narrative that Arthur Fleck is showing us is real or not. You know?
But you have to think too. This is the 80s. This is 81.
Yeah.
So like
pre-Tosh.0.
Yeah, it's pre a lot of shit. But like it just.
And I guess
they were more
like,
raw back then with what
like
they
Eddie
said.
Murphy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that makes sense because, especially in the state that Gotham's at, it would make sense for people to be cynical because that's kind of the world they live in. Yeah. You know?
And you see that a lot is like the people on top punch down.
Yeah.
And
the only other clip we see of Murray's show is in Arthur's, like, visualization the first time, so we don't really know what his show's like.
Yeah. That could be part of what he does. Mm-hmm. So, and especially if Gotham is New York or patterned after New York, like then comedy is a pretty big thing within Gotham too. I'm assuming. Yeah, because there's a huge community of comedians in New York. So
yeah. Fuck. What else? What else about this movie?
I don't know.
The soundtrack was really good.
Oh yeah, super good.
Man.
Well, we are running a little bit low on time, so before we go, is there anything you want to like close with?
Man, if you guys for some reason listen to this before seeing the movie, you should probably go watch it now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At this point, if you haven't watched the movie yet,
there's so much depth to this movie that I think would hit with a lot of people, no matter what your economic stance is, no matter what your political stance is. There's just a lot of layers to this movie that are expressed throughout the entire 2 hours of it, which I think is something that is hard for a lot of movies to do. Is I was captured from the start to the finish. Yeah. From the first scene with his head against the window to him as Arthur, moving forward to him in the cop car with his head against the window, which I thought was super crazy too, because he's super sad and something that you don't think is that bad. Yeah. And then at the end, he's super happy in a world that is now super fucked up. Yeah. And I just think that that just blew my mind, the whole thing about it. And it really sucks because I'm a big proponent of people fixing institutions before they try to fix other things. Like, I'm very pro-choice because I think if you fix the foster care institution, then it would make people wanting to have kids a lot easier if they were put in a position to have it or not. Oh, okay. You know? Yeah. So I think like that kind of aspect within the mental health institution and the funding getting cut for that, and Bruce Wayne has so much fucking money to fix Gotham, but he's putting none of it into social work. Yeah. Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
And instead he's trying to run for mayor.
Yeah, and build what part of Gotham up. Yeah. We don't know because it's not given to us, but we can only assume because funding got cut, it's not going to be anything within the health system.
Nothing that's important.
So I think just the way that the system has failed people and how that's portrayed within the movie is super deep, because that's something that people struggle with every day. Yeah. You know? Yeah. He says, how am I going to get my meds?
And sorry, there was don't know. Yeah, there was no answer.
You know, and that's like, in 2020, you know, is everyone going to have healthcare, or are people still going to struggle? You know? Yeah. So I think the parallels between 1980s Gotham and 2019 America, and even globally,
are very strong.
And if the idea behind the Joker is where the mindset of the general public is going, then I think that we are in for a ride.
Yeah, that's to put it nicely. Yes, I'd say a ride. Definitely.
And here we go.
Oh yeah, here we go. Also, Joaquin Phoenix, Best Actor nomination.
Oh, fuck,
has to be.
Fuck Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, he's not gonna get nominated.
I hope not.
He doesn't want to be.
Bro, if any Marvel actor beats out Joaquin Phoenix,
oh no, that's not gonna happen.
I will start a riot.
No, that's not gonna happen, dude.
And Bruce Wayne's parents will die.
But Endgame might beat out Joker in certain, not for Best Picture, but like in other categories. So
who was the movie dude that said like Marvel movies are just an amusement park?
I don't know, but I mean I've heard a lot of people say something like that, and yeah, I mean sure. I don't disagree.
I think MCU went from like world topics to pure entertainment.
Yeah. It's at this point, honestly, I am getting a little, it's just it's one of those things with MCU. How can you do better than Endgame? Like that arc, the whole 10 years, like to do something like that again, but it just brand new. It's just like, I don't know. I'm kind of good. Like these 10 years of movies, they're all done. You have it.
Yeah.
Like you can go from Iron Man all the way to Endgame, and it's a one cohesive arc, and it was wrapped up perfectly.
Besides Edward Norton and then Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
But
I mean, who gives a shit? Mark Ruffalo is awesome. And yeah, I'm like, for me personally, I'm kind of good.
Yeah.
So even if the MCU goes to shit, which some argue it already has, I don't really know. But even if it goes really bad, I wouldn't be mad about it because we have a solid MCU arc that I'm happy about.
And I think DC still has an opportunity to make that happen. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it starts with Todd Phillips' Joker. I don't know if it starts with Robert Pattinson Batman. I don't know if it starts with Birds of Prey with Margot Robbie. You know, I think that there's still a lot of time.
Yeah. And
a lot of characters that they haven't touched on. Maybe eventually if DC and Jeff Johns and all those creative directors and stuff really feel like it, maybe the big thing that's going to happen for DC is Crisis on Infinite Earths. I know they're already doing that on the CW shows.
No, really?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I don't know. I feel like...
Quick tidbit.
What?
Brandon Routh coming back as Superman Returns Superman for Crisis.
What?
As well as Smallville Superman coming back on the Crisis.
Is it going to be on the CW?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So.
No Henry Cavill? Dang.
No.
Sad.
Let me just put this out there too before we wrap up.
Okay.
Man of Steel set up the DC universe so well. I will die for that movie because Hans Zimmer created a fantastic score. The overall concept of, do I save the last person of my kind, or do I save the people who brought me up in this world?
Yeah.
Who do I save? Like that struggle, and just rewatching everything about that movie. I don't know why people don't like it so much, but fuck. Zod was so good.
Yeah, it's rough. That whole dude, it was bad. I mean,
take it away from the context of Suicide Squad and Dawn of Justice.
The fact that they tried to start a DCEU or whatever with Green Lantern, and just how instantly they had to restart it. Instantly, they had to hit the reset button, and they were just like, "Okay, we need to wait a couple years.
Just take it easy."
Well, I'm just saying
they made a TV DCU.
Yeah,
I think that was going really well.
TV DCUs. I mean, it still is.
There's one
Batwoman's now a thing.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I fell off DC. I never watched a while ago. I never watch anything. I've only seen a couple episodes of The Flash, and that's it. But
The Flash started out really good. I don't know where it's at now.
Yeah. I don't either, but I think if DC wants to compete, they just got to do something totally different from Marvel, and they shouldn't feel the need to connect movies, which is why I agree that like if they don't do the Robert Pattinson movie and they don't make it like connecting with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, I'd be fine with that too. Yeah,
maybe put in B-list villains of Batman's rogue gallery, like Clayface.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be sick. That'd be sick.
Or like what was that one guy's name? Fuck. Maybe like, I mean, I guess they could do Jason Todd's Red Hood, but I'm talking about Hush.
I don't know that.
Oh man, he steals Bruce's identity.
Oh wow.
He's the guy like his face is wrapped up in like bandages.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That would be crazy. But just get away from the story we've all seen.
Yeah. Just do something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be done. It'll be done again. And I know that they're going to do more movies. I just think doing like a DC like anthology or like that type of thing where instead of having everything connect, you just show the origins of like the key main Justice League people. You never connect them. You never do a Justice League.
Yeah.
But
it would be similar to their animated movies where you're just the one shots. Boom.
Exactly.
Boom.
Just do one shots. You don't need a giant campaign.
Yeah. Realize the movies that people like as animated movies, and because the animated movies do a great job depicting the comics into a visual platform that I can just leisurely like analyze and watch without having to sit there and like flip through pages.
Yeah.
So if they could take that kind of idea and move it from animated to live action with the same type of delivery, I think they would have a lot more success.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I also feel like they should try to they should allow their directors to just take liberties like Todd Phillips did with the Joker. Like he said he barely looked at any like source material. Like he just kind of they just wrote it and tried to figure it out. They threw some things in, but overall they weren't trying to go by the book at all.
Yeah.
Like and that's kind of cool to do a fresh take on, you know, Martian Manhunter and like stuff like that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to, you could use the character and make it your own, and doing that is actually, because I feel like people with the MCU are so caught up on like it has to be like, oh, you have to derive everything from the books.
Yeah.
And that can get really old really fast.
Yeah. And we don't even see a background for Hawkeye or
you don't.
Or Black
You're about
Widow
to
or
though.
Anything like that. Like we don't give two fucks about Peter's background because we already know.
Yeah. You're about to see though with Black Widow and with the Black Widow movie, like you're gonna see also Hawkeyes.
But those are stories that like I don't read or Marvel comics, you know, so I don't really know how they came about.
I love Hawkeye.
You know? So
really good
and I think the Joker as a standalone would do well with audiences that don't know anything about the Joker. Like I think if my grandma was able to watch that movie comfortably without being weirded out, she would be able to understand what's going on throughout the entire movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
Where like Dawn of Justice and all that kind of shit. My grandma was like, why was that red dude like popping out of the room? Like why is he having a dream about aliens? I was like, that's dark side stuff. Like I'll explain it to you later.
Yeah.
But then you sit there and you watch Marvel movies and everything is laid out for you so you understand without having to go look at any source material.
Exactly.
You know? So
I also heard another rumor before we go, because we've been saying we're about to go for like 15 minutes now. But really quickly, I have heard that there are discussions about making more movies like this with the other Batman villains.
That'd be sick as fuck.
And just do like these types of movies for just the villains. Never do a Batman, but just like have that. And
and they're just destroying Gotham. On the back end of things. Yeah. Or maybe they're just trying to expose Gotham for what it is.
Maybe one of them is. I just know that if they do that, I would really love to see a Penguin one, because it would be so like flipped from the Joker. Yeah. Because he's like rich and shit, but like there's just so many things.
His parents don't love him.
Yeah.
Because he's ugly.
Yeah, there's just so many things that I could do with it. It's just like when it goes to like villains like Poison Ivy and like Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Like, it's just hard.
Fuck.
It's just
Poor
like
Victor, bro. This guy's so misunderstood. He just wants to save Nora.
Yeah. But it's just like, how could you make a Joker-esque movie about a guy that is like
trying to find a cure for his wife, but he's too poor.
Yeah, but I mean, Mr. Freeze though, like his power is he like has like ice shit.
Yeah,
and he needs to be like kept in hella cool temperatures because of some like.
Don't let Schwarzenegger skew your opinion.
No, I'm not. No, not at all. Like I know that was goofy, but that specific one was goofy. I just don't know how you could make a really realistic, gritty Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
I just don't know how, but. Yeah. If they could figure it out, that'd be sick.
Yeah. I mean, even in the Arkham games, like, you see Mr. Freeze, but he's like, hey, man, like, you just do what you gotta do. I'm just here trying to save my wife. Like, we've already had our disputes. Can I please just focus on this? Yeah. You know? Yeah. He doesn't, you just, like, walk past him and he's like, all right.
Yeah, you fight him, like, one time.
Yeah. And then after that, he's like, all right, we cool? All right, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely funny. Bane would also be another interesting one, too.
A good Bane.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. So, on Monday, we are going to have a throwback podcast with some members of my the store that I work at. Just like the old days of the podcast.
Fuck.
Like
from episode 1?
Episode 1 and 3 and like all those early ones. Like I haven't done a show at the store in a while. This is really the first one in a couple months. We're gonna catch up with Joey the Assman Norris and Erwundo Rojas. See how they're doing. So stay tuned for that. It'll be out Monday at noon. And until then, you take care now.